The second I talked about briefly yesterday, which is Tai Chi. And I mean, of course, today, particularly in California, everybody knows that Tai Chi, the Chi is not of Qigong. But you go most anywhere else in the world, and everyone thinks that Tai Chi is very good for your Qi. There is nothing about the art of Tai Chi that has to do with your Qi. Right? It's Tai Chi, if you were to pronounce it in Mandarin. It's a different Chinese character. They don't even look the same. And you'll often see it translated as grand ultimate or all sorts of things. None of those are really important. What is important is that when I laid out the universe yesterday, and you've got the Hundun, the Wuji, the Yoji, and the Taiji, it was a martial art, and it is important to remember that however you may choose to practice Tai Chi, and I encourage you to do it any way you want, it is not my place to say anything to you, do realize that it was a martial art, and the person who made it most famous walked around or rode around China on a horse with a sign saying, "Nobody can beat me up. I am the strongest man." And he looked like an American football linebacker with a neck the size of my chest. Now, I can tell you from my years of experience, he did not get a neck the size of my chest doing this. Right? And he did not become a wise, philosopher, bearded, intelligent person. In fact, he was incredibly arrogant, rode around the country beating up everybody, and then showed up in Beijing, the imperial city, and was given a position at the emperor's feet as sort of like the toughest man in the country. So if you can sit with that reality, and the reality we would like it to have, often, I'm sort of projecting upon you, and that's not fair, but if you can sit with those things and realize that they called, the Chen family and then the Yang family called the art this because it's arrogant. We're so good. We are so good that we connect to this. Right? So it just gives you another perspective to consider. It doesn't make the practice any more or less valid or anything else, but it is not some practice designed for health or anything else. And the people who did it got famous not for being very healthy, but for being very big and mean. They're those bullies that I was talking about earlier, which is why that Taiwanese family that I used to spend a lot of time with didn't want me to tell anybody that I practiced martial arts, did Chinese medicine, because literally they'd be like, yeah, and they go in gangs, and 8, 10 people, they got the posse. Any of you who've been to China and seen Dr. Xie, when he walks out, he's got his little black round sunglasses from the Qing dynasty, hat on his head, and he's got 7 disciples behind him. And he's like, yeah, here we go. And he enjoys that buzz. That was fun for him. So we can keep that in mind of what it is. Why pick this name? One, it's saying that we are so connected with perfect harmony of balance that we are doing this. That's the polite thing. And 2, it's arrogance, saying that I have managed to reach a state where I am no longer yin or yang. You cannot divide my movements. I am purely this. Now, along comes a man named Dong Haichuan. Dong Haichuan, also probably 6'6", 300 pounds, massive man, comes through. Yang Bangho is like, we don't want to mess with him. We'll all just sort of be nice and there. He says, I'm going to call my art Bagua. Why? I would have loved to have met all these people and trained under them, but at the same time, I have no illusions. These people. So, you got your Taiji symbol, right? And they've taken this up. They've called it Taiji. How do I one-up them? How do I come up with a name that trumps them? But the 8 trigrams surrounds the Taiji. That was pretty good, huh? Now we're better than you because we surround you. And Lao Tzu says, do not become attached to names. These were ordinary people who were very good with very big egos, who reached a point where they all came from poor backgrounds, became incredibly good at something, went to the imperial city, and became incredibly wealthy, important people that to this day, we, the other side of the planet, practice their arts and try and find ways to practice with their children, grandchildren, visit their farming village, everything else. It's pretty impressive. But it is important to remember, they're just people.